Hello there and welcome to Fast Track IELTS. My name is Jordan and I'm one of the Fast Track OET teachers here. And in today's video we are going to be talking about the OET exam. And more specifically, we're going to be talking about whether you are allowed to resit the OET exam. And there is a lot of confusing information available online about this. Some places say you're allowed to take the test again, and some places say you're not allowed to take the test. So we're going to answer that question once and for all, nice and clearly, to make sure you understand exactly what the requirements are regarding resitting the OET exam. So just to make sure we're clear and we're talking about the same thing, to resit the exam means to basically to take the test again. But it's not always as simple as taking the test again. And some people would like to know, we're asked all the time whether can I take certain sections again, or do I have to take the full test again? It can be a little bit confusing. So let's get to the bottom of it and let's get this explained once and for all. So the first one is probably one of the most common questions we're asked. Can you resit just one area of the test? So if I fail just the writing exam, can I retake just the writing exam? Well, unfortunately, yes and no. But as it says here, really the answer is no here. So OET, the exam board, say you are allowed to take just one section of the test. So if you fail the writing, you can retake just the writing. However, the NMC and the GMC and most exam boards around the world, in Australia, the UK, all over the place, unfortunately, they don't accept it. So even though you're allowed to do it, it's not accepted when you actually go to apply for your registration. So the truth is, whenever you fail one area of the test, and even if it's just by one little mark, unfortunately, you will have to do the entire test again. And there's no real exceptions to that. That's the case whether you're a doctor or a nurse. If you fail one section of the test, you will unfortunately have to take the full exam again. So hopefully that answers your question, but there are some other points that we'd like to point out as well. So as you've probably seen, if you're in the UK and you're looking to apply for NMC registration, you need to achieve a grade of B in the reading test, B in the listening, and B in the speaking. However, they will now accept a C+ in the writing exam, so we don't need to be perfect in that writing test. For GMC registration, as we can see, you're going to need to get that B grade in all of the exam areas. So what I would say is, with that GMC, that basically means we have to do it right. We have to get all of those grades. We have to get the B, and we can't just reset one of the points at a time, like I was saying a moment ago. We have to do that full test. With the NMC, however, for nurses, it is a little bit more complex, and there's one thing if you don't pass the test that you can do, which is combining the results. So this is a little bit complex, so I'm going to kind of explain it in a little bit of detail, as there are lots of kind of different rules of what they will accept and what they won't accept. So the important thing to know is when it comes to combining your results, and this is where you take the results from one test, you take the results from another test, and you put them together to hopefully achieve a passing grade. So maybe you failed the writing one time, you pass it another, you failed the speaking one time, you pass it the other, you'll combine those results together, so you've got a B or a C+ in all of the areas. So let's have a look at some of these rules then. If we do want to combine our results, as it says here, the two tests that you do must be within 6 months of each other. So you can't do the test at the beginning of the year and then try it again and combine those. They need to be within 6 months of each other. No grade as part of the test can ever be below C+. So if you ever achieve a C grade, we're not going to be able to combine the results. We can only combine those results when it comes to getting a C+ or higher. So the other rule is that you need to achieve a B in each of the tests at least once. So if you're combining your results, you have to have a B somewhere, except for NMC nurses for the writing exam, where they're going to accept that C+. I told you it was complicated. There's a lot of things that they will accept and they won't accept, but we'll look at some more examples to make sure this is nice and clear. And like it says for this final part, like we've already talked about, we need to take all 4 tests at once. We can't just take one test at a time. So let's have a look at some examples here then. So let's have a look at this top one here. And this is a test that a student has taken. This is the results that they've achieved. So for this first one, they took the test in July. So they got a B in the listening, they got a C+ in the reading, they got a C+ in the writing, and they got a B in the speaking. So which test did they fail here? Yeah, so that would be the reading. Remember, they accept the C+ for the writing. That's absolutely fine, but we needed a B in the reading, so they failed this. So a couple of months later then, this student then does a test in August. This time, however, they didn't get the B in the listening, they failed that, and they got the C+. But in the reading they did. So across both of those areas, they've got a B. As long as we've got a minimum C+ across them, we've got a B there, we can combine those results. We've passed those sections. We know that they accept a C+, they got a C+ again, that's fine, they've passed, and they got a B here. So they've passed the speaking both times. So for this particular student, they've passed the exam, they've got the grade that they need, and we can see that perfect. They've got the grade that they need, and we can see that information there. So remember, the most important thing is getting those results combined, yes, but if we're going to combine them, we need to get at least a C+. So let's have a look at another student here then. They're applying for their NMC registration. How have they got on? So in January, the listening, they got a C+, so they've not quite passed that test, but maybe they can combine it later. Reading C+, so they've not passed that one. Reading a B, writing a B, they've done fantastic. Speaking, they've passed that one as well. So let's have a look then. And the first thing I would point out here is that you've noticed here that they do the test in August, which is more than 6 months away from January. So already this isn't going to be accepted. We know that they're only going to accept tests that are within 6 months of each other. This is more than 6 months. They're already not going to accept combining the results. And we'll also notice for the listening, they got a C grade here. We know that we have to get a minimum of C+ in order to combine the results. And here they got a C. This isn't going to be accepted. They did eventually pass the reading, and they passed the writing, the speaking, but that C grade there, there's no B in the listening test, that won't be accepted. They got a C in the listening test, so we definitely won't be accepted, and they're within 6 months. 100, not within 6 months, 100% not going to be accepted. So I hope that makes things a little bit clearer for you. If there's kind of 2 bits of information to take away from this video, is when it comes to your exam, you will have to always do it in one sitting. That's going to be the case for everybody. And if you're applying for GMC, you're not going to do the test in one go, and you won't be able to combine your results. And if you're doing it for NMC purposes, we can combine the results. But remember, we really want to be aiming for that B grade. That's the most important thing, really. Let's not kind of risk it or kind of rely on combining the results. You know, you are going to have to pay your exam fees twice if you're looking to combine the results. It's not a good option for us, really. The most important thing is to focus on getting that B grade and getting it first time. Perfect. Well, I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like to have more OET advice and tips, don't forget to like this video, leave us a comment if you've got any questions, and subscribe to our channel. And you can also go to our website, which is passmyielts.com, for more useful OET tips and advice. My name is Jordan, and I look forward to speaking with you very soon in one of our next videos. Thanks a lot.